it's a really unique place. I've traveled and worked a lot around the world, but I think I know home is home, but I think living on Lake Como is like I open the window every day and I see the lake and I say, wow, I'm such a lucky person, really such a lucky person. And I think it's really the best place in the world.
Benvenuti a Ciao Bella. I'm your host, Erica Firpo. For the past 20 years, I've made my home in Rome, where I've worked as a journalist contributing to publications including Afar, Washington Post, Lonely Planet, and Travel and Leisure. I love sharing the stories of Italy's pioneering creators, and I'm bringing these stories directly to you on Ciao Bella. Every week, I'm joined by contemporary artists, heritage artisans, designers, culinary experts, innovative aesthetes, and more. At the crossroads of evolution and tradition, the past and the future, they are working and creating to define and redefine 21st century Italy. Join me as we see Italy through their eyes. When I think of Lago di Como, I think of George Clooney, George Lucas, and James Bond. I can't help it. They've seemingly put the gorgeous Lombard Lake retreat on the map. But Jan Bucher will tell you otherwise. Jan is the latest generation of the Bucher family, owners of Grand Hotel Villa Serbelloni, custodians of history. The gorgeous lakeside hotel is where everybody who is anybody, and I really mean this, has stayed since its 1872 opening. I was curious about what it means to curate history, hospitality to the future, so I caught up with Jan.
I especially love talking to families, you know, these generational hotels. I mean, it's kind of amazing. Now, I know that Serbelloni has been around since 1873. Yeah. Is that correct? I mean, that's incredible. Yeah. That's a long time.
Yeah, we've just celebrated this summer. We just celebrated 150th anniversary of the hotel, and it's we've been there since a long time. It was actually built as a private villa in 1845. It was designed by this Italian architect Vantini, and then in 1854 it was bought by Mr. Frizzoni, which was a very wealthy man from Bergamo, which is just 1.5 hours from here, and it was actually Swiss as well, because we're half Swiss as a family. And it was from the Italian part, from Poschiavo, but was living in Bergamo, and bought this villa here on the shores of Lake Como, which actually Lake Como was not well known as today, of course. And he bought it for the wife, and they kept it for about 15 years. And then they sold it around in 1870 to a Swiss company, which with some banks from Milano, they created this company, and they bought it. And then in just 3 or 4 years, they built the north and south wings. And in 1873, they opened at that time the Grand Hotel Bellagio. And you will ask yourself, why is it called now Grand Hotel Villa Serbelloni? And it's a very long story, our history, because 150 years, especially from 1850 until now, with a lot of big wars, First World War, Second World War, Spanish flu, and all these kind of things. We've survived everything. Now the COVID lately, and in 1918, my grandfather Arturo Bucher, which at that time was the general manager and owner of Grand Hotel Palace in Milano.
So this is your bisnonno?
Bisnonno, yes, exactly.
Okay.
My bisnonno. So I'm the 4th generation of this hotel, because actually it's an even longer story, our family in this industry. I'm the 6th generation of the Bucher dynasty. But in this hotel, I'm the 4th generation, yes. And at the beginning of 1900, the Lake Como was getting more like this trendy and fancy lake already, and all the very rich family, from like the Pirelli family from the tires, the Fiocchi family, which they were building fire guns, from the region. They were used to come on Lake Como for their holiday. And so my bisnonno, my grandfather, heard about this beautiful place, Bellagio and Lake Como. So he came here as well once and said, okay, I need to see it. So he came here and fell in love like everybody else, and started to deal with the general manager at the time, which was a German, which was Leon Breitschmidt, was a general manager and owner. Because at the time you were not only general manager, you were the owner of the world.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's a bit different than today. And so after a long deal, he managed to buy the hotel. So in 1918, the Bucher family came into the Grand Hotel Bellagio. So actually we celebrated 100th anniversary from our dynasty in here in 2018. And then, in 1918, he took it over, and then since then, it's been from our family, and there's a lot of nice, funny anecdote and history in this 150 years of story, because it's a lot that has been going on.
Well, I thought, you were talking about how when the hotel was built, when it opened, let's say in 1873, it's still, Como was not necessarily the tourist destination, but interestingly enough, what I found, so when I love Como. I think it's really, it's very beautiful and unique. And I brought my husband there once, and the first thing he said, which just kind of I have to let you know, my husband's an archaeologist. Okay. So I said to him, have you ever been to Como? And he said, Clooney has been there. And I was like, what? And so apparently Como is where Pliny the Elder was, or someone. There's like his village, So my husband's whole relation, he's like, Como's been around forever. He's like, the ancient Romans knew about it. And I was like,
of course. I mean, our church in Bellagio is a Romans times church, so it's.
Oh, really?
Yeah, of course. It's a very old medieval Romans village, actually, Bellagio. So it's been here millions of years. And but I cannot say that it's true that Lake Como was not that trendy and fancy in 1800, because it was, of course, a different era. But it was actually already very famous because, as I said before, all the very wealthy family from the area knew actually Lake Como and came into Lake Como for holidays, especially when the Grand Hotel Bellagio in 1873 opened. They stayed here for like 3-4 months. So they came for holiday, and then from there, wealthy family.
Because holiday meant like really living there.
They know other important people, so it brings up more people. It was the marketing at that time. It's a bit different than now, but it actually was it was a mouth-to-mouth marketing. And I think from there on, Lake Como already started to be a very luxurious destination.
Well, I think it's a gorgeous destination, and I mean, it's kind of, I think, impressive if you think about it geographically. You're at the base of these beautiful mountains, this little valley, and the lake is beautiful. The lake is humongous. But then also, I know did Winston Churchill live in Como?
No, he didn't live in Como. He came here at our hotel many times.
Okay.
We have a royal suite named after his name, with the Winston Churchill suite, and he loved Lake Como as well, like all the UK and British citizens. They love it because we have a lot of Americans here, but we used to have a lot of a wealthy family from the UK, which we still have. Our second market, especially here at the Grand Hotel Serbelloni, is from UK. So it was very well known from there as well. So we had a lot of politicians as well, like John F. Kennedy, Winston Churchill, Roosevelt, and many others.
You know how some hotels have the books that you sign in? Do you have like a book with everybody's famous autograph?
We have a lot of, we are very proud of our history, of course. We keep up with the standard, with the modern era, of course, and we always reinvest in the hotel. But for us, the history of this building is the most important part. And I think that what makes us unique as well, because there is a lot of history in Italy, but nowadays everything has been bought by big chains or big companies, and I think it lost a little bit this family and historical touch that that, for example, we can give to the guests. And we have we call it our history hall of fame. I call it a bit like this. It's a almost 50 meters long corridor where we have all our old pictures from 1800 and coming on until 2024, and it explains a little bit the history of the hotel. It makes you have a lot of picture like from Churchill when he was here, Roosevelt, and John F. Kennedy's arrival. So we have all these kind of pictures, and of course we have our Hall of Fame, let's say like this book, and where all our VIPs and Hollywood stars sign in. And I think it starts from early 1900. So it's a lot of signing and a lot of cool things.
Yeah, and so you said your bisnonno, your great grandfather, acquired the hotel and opened it. And he took it over in 1918. Did your family live there? Do you live there?
My family lived there. My bisnonno lived here at the hotel, and my grandfather lived here at the hotel. My parents are living here at the hotel. I grew up here at the hotel, and now that I'm running the hotel, of course, still with my parents together and my brothers, I decided to move away from the hotel and live outside. And I just live 5 minutes from the hotel, because there's a lot of pros living in the hotel, but I think there is more cons in living in the hotel inside. We were as well raised quite in a strict way. So of course, if you think, oh, you live in a hotel, you live like a royalty. You know, you can eat every day from the restaurant, and you can use all the facilities and amenities of the hotel.
Yeah, I was wondering if you bicycle through your Hall of Fame.
Oh, we did a lot of things. We did a lot of horrible things, and my parents were always like running behind us, and it was a crazy funny period. But at the end, you were like, I could never listen to loud music in my room. I could never run around the apartment, because below our apartments, beneath, there is the spa and wellness center. So the guests were, of course, relaxing and having massages. So it was very strict, and it was a bit boring. And of course, you never have your privacy. You have always someone that rings the door and have a problem or wants something or needs something. So you never have your privacy.
And I must excuse me. I must admit, I would think that the guests would probably love to see the children of the owners. They were like, oh, this is little Jan.
No, but yeah, of course. But we made a lot of friends as well. And then now when we were kids, and now these kids, they're grown up, of course. Now they're coming with their kids still at the hotel. So we built this generation and generation for repeaters that are coming like 40, 50 years, and now that the parents are older, and they're coming with the grandchildren, so it's very cool. I know a lot of our guests, and it's a very nice thing.
What do you think it is that makes them keep coming back generation after generation?
I think it's exactly this family touch that we are having here, because I think it's not like walking in a normal hotel in a chain that you are just a bit like a number, you know. Every employee is a bit a number. They moved a lot. Maybe you work once in New York, and then you work 1 year there, and then they move you to London, and then they move you again, you know. They make you all these kind of things. And we have a very, very loyal staff, so that we have staff working for over 40 years, and they know all the repeaters coming back. They're having like dinner and lunch with them, and so it's a bit, of course, it's a hotel. We have all the luxury facilities that a 5-star hotel needs, but I think it's this family touch that we have when you come in, and it's a bit, I think you feel it. I think the guest feels that, and I think this is what makes us unique and different than the others. The repeaters are coming back because they've seen maybe me growing up with their children, and now I'm running this place, and you know, their children maybe still friends with me, so they're coming back. You know, you build up these relationships, and then at the end, I think it's working a little bit like that.
Tell me a little bit about the history in the hotel, the art in the hotel. I know you have quite the collection.
Yeah, I mean, we have always been very, very proud, and we love arts, especially my parents. I'm getting into it now. I'm not that, but we have a lot of I don't know how you say it in English. It's like stampa. stampe
Prints, yeah.
prints and lithography.
Lithos, yeah.
Lithos of very famous artists like Picasso, Van Gogh, and of course we don't have the real paintings because they're in Louvre and other places. But we have all these kind of things. We love art. We love as well local art as well. We always try to work with local artists, and we have this very famous sculpture,
Yeah.
Sculpture from the area. And where we have like a deal with him is like it's like a showroom the hotel for him. He comes with his sculpture, he puts them around the hotel.
So he has like a show.
Exactly. It's a bit like, for us it's cool because we have his sculpture around the hotel. It's something cultural, it's something nice, artistical, and he can as well sell them. So it's something going on since over 20 years. And as well, we always do during the month of June, July, and August, we have like a room that we rent to these artists. It doesn't matter who you are. If we like the art, you can come in, you can have it for 1 week, and you can show your paintings or your sculptures for free. People can walk in and walk out, and of course, if people wants to, they can buy it. So we give a lot of opportunity to artists and people who wants to show their. And it's just not about just only paintings and sculptures, whatever you want. I mean, you can do a show of if you're doing like, I don't know, a scarf of silk, very famous silk in Lake Como, you can have a show of that. We had once this guy that was, he loved like trains. So he came and he brought all this collection of trains in the hotel. So we never say no to art and to people that want to show something.
What would you say the ideal amount of time that one should spend at Grand Hotel Villa Serbelloni and in the Lago di Como area?
I think 4 to 5 nights is the best that you to enjoy Lake Como, because there's definitely 1 or 2 days that you just want to maybe just relax and just sit on the beach and have some Aperol spritz and just enjoy the beautiful scenery that you have in front of us. For example, one of our unique selling points is just we don't have any roads in front of us. We have straight access to the lake, so it's really quiet and peaceful. So just sitting on the beach area or in our gardens and just watching the scenery is something amazing. So at least you need to take 1 to 2 days for that. Then you definitely need to do a little tour on the lake. You have so many beautiful villas to see and other hotels as well to go and sightsee, maybe stop there for a drink or dinner. And then definitely there's a lot of historical things that you can do. There is as well Milano is just a 1.5 hour car from here, which I think it's a beautiful town, a beautiful city to go and explore.
I think that's really good advice. I think one of the things I noticed when I was there was, aside from all the boats, I saw the I don't know what they're called, the airplanes that land on the water.
Hydro,
And so you can see, you can also take you can go up and see it from above, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, you have a lot of things that you can do. You have a lot of sports activity, water activities as well. You have beautiful hiking tours that you can do on the lake
and bicycling, right?
Yeah, bicycle, everything. You can actually do really everything on the lake, and now you can take the I don't know, seaplane, I think they call it.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, the seaplane. Yeah.
Seaplane, yeah, exactly. You need to go drive to Como, and then from there, because there is the water airport, I call it like
right.
And then you need to get from there, and then you do like 45 minutes trip, and it's beautiful. It's amazing all over Lake Como, and then you fly back, and it's something you can do this with a helicopter as well. So you have plenty of options.
Have you ever biked or walked around all of the Lake Como? Is that impossible?
I mean, there is a very famous route. It's like from Bellagio to now the people from Lake Como will kill me because I don't remember the name, but almost up to, I think, to Brunate, which is just it's a little town village just up the hill from Como. And you can walk from Bellagio to there, and it's like about 30 kilometers. And it's beautiful because you walk all through the mountains and you have a lovely scenery and everything. And other than that, there is beautiful mountains. Of course, we are in the Alps, so there's a lot of hiking that you can do, a lot of bicycle that you can do. I'm not a very bike fan, but I love to hike, and I did all the mountains on the Lake Como. And they're really nice because they're very easy ones, very hard ones. For example, we have La Grigna, which is the toughest mountain here on Lake Como. There's like a steep wall of 500 meters, let's say, something like that, where all the...
Not for me.
No, for me, it's no, you need to be a professional. They call it the spiders from Lecco. And they train there and then they move to Mount Everest and K2, and they do these peaks as well. So there are a lot of people from all over the world come and to do this.
You know, that doesn't sound bad, like to train there and then have, train for a few days, have the aperitivo, the spritz at Villa Serbelloni in the afternoon, watch the sunset.
Exactly.
That sounds like actually quite good training before you do the K2.
No, yeah, exactly. Just relax before the...
Hey there, it's pretty obvious that I love Rome and everywhere in Italy. So I'm excited to share that I've compiled all of my favorite places where to go, eat, see, and stay into the coolest, easy-to-use guides for Saltite. Saltite is a lineup of curated personal guides by expert journalists and travel writers like myself. My guides, Rome with Ciao Bella and Venice with Ciao Bella, are the very best on-the-ground resources for the Eternal City and La Serenissima. Every place that I love and repeat visit, from restaurants, bars, and boutiques, to art galleries, archaeo sites, hotels, and more are included. My guides are everything you need for Rome and Venice, and they are always up to date. The best part is that they support writers like me. Along with my guides, Saltite has great guides to Lisbon, Paris, Bologna, Philadelphia, and my favorite, Little Italy in the Bronx, by Ciao Bella guest Daniele Otteri. So visit Saltite and support a writer. It'll make you feel good. Saltite.com. SALTETE.com.
You know, I think we've seen a lot of different versions of Lago di Como over the past 20 years in kind of in the modern media, like with James Bond, with Star Wars. In fact, all of my friends who love Star Wars have all visited Lago di Como.
George Lucas stayed here for 1 month when they shot Star Wars. He slept in our Imperial Suite for almost a month.
Ooh, yeah. I mean,
we have his signing and picture here in our corridor.
I have a lot of friends that would go nuts just to. They would love to know George Lucas was there. Speaking of Georges, do you think that there's been a big change with the whole, like, has there been a Clooney effect?
Maybe I'm gonna go against all the others, but no, not that. I mean, of course, Clooney is such a huge person, very important, very famous, these big Hollywood stars, But before Clooney, we had so many others, big famous stars. For example, George Lucas came here for months to shot Star Wars, and before that, Al Pacino stayed here as well to shot. Bobby Deerfield was shot in our hotel and in Bellagio. So Hollywood was always here on Lake Como. I think what really matters and what really changed is the era that we are now in. For example, we have social media, all with this digital marketing. This pushes a lot because if George Lucas would have been here just last year, it would have been the same effect as George Clooney. And I think it's just like the media reaction that we had with this Instagram and all these kind of things that where everybody has access to that, made a big story out of it. But I think other than that, Lake Como was so famous even before George Clooney. And now all the George Clooney fans will hate me.
I have not seen an ugly picture of Lago di Como. I've only seen, it seems like there's never a bad day in Lago di Como. No,
there are bad days, but even in bad days, it's such a beautiful, beautiful region and place. I think we really don't have nothing horrible on Lake Como. It's really beautiful. We have this beautiful lake, which is quite big, but not that wide. So you have like these very steep, big mountains like falling into the water. It looks a little bit like a wine summer because it's very green and they go straight into the water. It's beautiful because it's not overbuilt like many other lakes in Italy and over in Europe. And so you don't have a lot of houses, and you don't have modern houses, so you're not allowed to build it. And this is something amazing, I think. And you're surrounded by these beautiful villas from 1800 and 1900, and just the scenery is beautiful. Even when it's storming, I think it's even nicer. And it's with this lightning and big wind and waves, and then rain for 20 minutes, and then it comes the sun out again. So I think it's a really unique place. I've traveled and worked a lot around the world, but I know home is home, but I think living on Lake Como is like, I open the window every day and I see the lake and I say, wow, I'm such a lucky person, really such a lucky person. And I think it's really the best place in the world.
You're preaching to the choir. I love Lago di Como. And it just sounds everything you're saying, I can't stop smiling. Now, my question for you is, your family has been 105 years involved in this hotel.
Yep.
That's more than a century. That's a long time. And that's a long time. I mean, it's family run, which means it's personal. What do you like to do when you get out to get inspiration? I mean, where are the places that you're going? Well, you moved out of the hotel, so maybe this isn't a fair question.
No, but I think it is a good question, because I think when I came here and when I started to change a lot of things, because, for example, my parents have been working here now for 40 years in the same place. And I think they did, and they're still doing an amazing job, because they teach me so much, and then they're still doing a lot for this industry and for this hotel and for this family, of course. But I think after 40 years, you're getting a bit blind, you don't see many things. And that is why I didn't want to do this error, because when I finished hospitality management in Switzerland, I said to my parents, no, I don't want to come home. I'm too young. I'm too fresh. I need to see the world. I need to see this industry. I need to bring ideas to the hotel as well. And I think this helped me a lot. On one side, on my, let's say, management skills, of course, because I think you can study so much as you want in this industry, but you need to feel it. You need to touch it. You need to work into this industry. Otherwise, just numbers and just studying and numbers you're not gonna go a long way. And especially I said I wanna go abroad. I wanna work in big 5 stars important hotels, because I want to see how they do it. I want to see how I can bring these ideas or other things into the hotel. I think this made a lot of change to me and to the hotel as well, because when I came here, of course, I'm still young. I mean, I wanted to change everything, of course, like everybody coming into this new family business. They want to move, to change, to renovate, and I'm quite lucky, because I have a very, very strong and very good relationship with my parents, especially with my dad. So there is a lot of trust. And so when I came up with an idea, it was not just an idea, but it was thought, and so we were able to change it, and we started to change a lot from when I came back in 2019, from the marketing side, from the sales side, and especially from renovating. And we're always renovating this hotel every single year. We are seasonal, like most of all the hotels are on Lake Como, and so we're closed during the winter, and we always reinvest our own money into this property. First of all, because we're in love with this place. It's not just an hotel. It's not just where we gain our money, and it's not just an industry for us. It's our home. It's our house. It's like hosting people in welcoming and hosting people in our own home. It's a own house. It's a very big one, but I mean, we feel it like that, and I think we bring this to the staff as well. And that's what I was saying before. I think that's what as well guests I think appreciate it and feel here. It's not so stiff, you know. It's not like all like we're not like that, you know. It's just
Right.
you're walking in a very warm environment, and yeah, we always reinvest and we always do new things in the hotel, but of course we really want to keep this historical part and this 150 years of history. We want to keep it alive, so we want to be that historical hotel, but of course with modern standard from
That's that's
new
the thing
era.
I was going to ask you is just, I've been thinking about a lot in regard to a 150-year hotel. How do you balance heritage with innovation and also to some degree with trend?
Trends is a very I don't know. It's you need to be very careful with trends, because I think trends they start and then they move on and then they change and then they die. So if you only follow trends, I think you will not go long enough in this industry. You need to be a bit careful. What I think we are doing quite well, especially in these past years, and yeah, it's exactly what you said before, the balance between history and new, which is quite difficult because it's
Yeah.
because you want to keep the historical part, as I said before, but you don't want to be old, you don't want to be like, you know, dark, and but you want to be but you want to keep this alive. And on the other side, you need to keep up with the new standards. We're doing 2024, not anymore in 1800. So, for example, we are redoing this winter. So next season, this coming season, all our guests will see our new indoor pool.
Ooh.
New indoor pool, yeah, exactly, and a new wellness center. And for example, the indoor pool was built in. We were one of the first hotel in Italy to have an indoor pool. It was built in late 90s, beginning of 2000, and we were one of the first in to have an indoor pool and a wellness center and a fitness center as well. But it's now 24 years ago, and 24 years ago, it's a lot. It doesn't sound that much, but it's quite a lot, and it changed a lot from the 90s until now. So we did a big investments this winter, and we changed a lot, and it's a quite modern indoor pool, but I think we managed to balance with a very, very classical way, but still modern, but still can be relocated in this hotel. And I think yeah, you need to be careful. You cannot just think about an idea and just do it, because you can destroy it quite quickly.
Right.
But for example, our entrance, our main lobby, our rooms, we wanted to keep it a little bit. We have still furniture from that time, from 1800, in all our rooms, and but of course with the completely maybe new white marble bathroom, for example. We are balancing it a bit like that, and it's not that easy, and especially it's not easy to build things in this building, because you have still pipes, for example, from 1800 here in house, you know, and they go all over the place. So you need to be quite careful. It's not very easy. Maybe you drill a wall and then suddenly you have this pipe in front of you. You don't know what it is. It's not drawn in any drawers from architects from the time, so you don't know anything. You don't know if it's still working or working. So you always need to figure out new things, and we are quite lucky in the family, because my father actually is started his studying as an engineer, and then moved to hospitality. And my grandfather was an engineer as well, and my grandfather as well. So I'm actually the first one that just studied hospitality.
You're like, no engineering, you guys can handle it.
No, but I think I learned quite a lot with my dad, and I am always very interested in following the works that we're doing now. So I'm quite learning a bit, but of course I'm not an engineer. But that helps a lot to have like an engineer in house, because it's
yeah, I bet, especially with such a big and historic house.
yeah, no, it is. Yeah. And so, but yeah, we always, of course, we always reinvest. We always do new things, and I think this is as well, to answer your question before, back again, why people are still coming back and so many repeaters, because I think they always have something new, because they knew maybe 1 year is such a huge thing, like for example this year, the new indoor pool, the new spa area, the new fitness area, or whatever. And maybe next year it will be just a little touch in the room, a little new amenities. But you know, they feel it, and they know that when they're coming back, they will definitely see something new, either bigger or either smaller, but they will have something new. And I think trick them as well to come back and to say, oh, what they did this year. Let's see.
When does it's seasonal? When will it open in 2024?
We open in 2020, 22nd of March. So in 2 months, yeah.
Oh yeah, like 2 months, less than 2 months.
Yeah, and the pool is still like it's still like drilling like hell.
So everybody should put on their books the Grand Hotel Villa Serbelloni, 22nd of March. And when does it close?
We're gonna close it now. The date is fixed on the 3rd of November, but let's see how the season goes. Maybe we'll postpone a little bit. Maybe
Yeah, I was going to ask you, you know, when we first started talking, we were talking about the weather, and I know that a lot of seasonal hotels have prolonged now.
Yeah, we are trying to do as well. That's why we opened it earlier as well, because normally we open the first week of April, beginning of April, but as well Easter falls very early this year. It's the 31st of March, so that's why we decided, okay, let's open a little bit earlier. Although we have so many works going on, I hope we will manage. No, we have to manage. And yeah, a lot of hotels are trying to do the season a little bit longer. It's not that easy, because the problem is it cannot only be done from 2 or 3 hotels. All the region needs to be on the same page, and everybody needs to do it, from the little one until the big one, because otherwise it won't work, especially for the big ones. Because we tried to in 2004 and until 2008. We opened the informal restaurant and the indoor pool and the spa area for all year long.
Oh.
But we tried 4 years, but it was not worth it, because Bellagio was completely a ghost town. Everything was closed, and we didn't have enough with the locals. So after 4 years, we decided, no, it's not worth it. But now it's changing a little bit. Tourism is changing a little bit, because I think Lake Como, especially Bellagio, it's a tick in the box for everybody. It's like a must to do before I die. And in summer, especially when the season opens, it is a very expensive lake, because I mean, average rate of a 5-star luxury hotel is about 1,000 and up a night. So it's actually not for everybody, of course. And even the smaller hotels are quite expensive, and so we have this luxurious tourism here, not like maybe other lakes on north of Italy. And so I think maybe as well, winter can be something like very low season for maybe somebody that cannot afford to pay like 1,000, 2,000 a night. So I think this could be something that can grow for the future. But it needs to be done from everybody. It cannot just be done by Grand Hotel Serbelloni and 3 other big 5-star hotels. Like this is never going to work. Especially us, we are in Bellagio, which is the most beautiful town in Lake Como, but we need to think we are still like 45 minutes from Como. We're 1.5 hours from Milano. So we're in a beautiful spot, but there's still a bit to drive to come here. So if you come here and then to stay only in the 5-star hotel for 4 days and not do anything, I think it's quite boring.
Well, if you have a good book, maybe. I have a question for you, because I've always wondered, what's it like? How do you feel the first day the hotel opens, the first day of the season? What's that feeling for you?
The 2 weeks before the opening is, I think, the most stressful period that we have, because everybody's like running like hell. All the new stuff is coming, and we have a lot of meetings where we have to clean all the area, all the hotel, every single bit in the hotel. So everybody's like running like hell. And the first day when it opens, I think it's amazing. I love it, because I love when the hotel opens. I love to welcome guests, and I love to listen the first night of our piano lounge bar music, when the guests are having aperitivo there, and you have this piano the sunset in front of you and guests watching, and everybody well dressed, and you starting to speak again other languages, because I speak quite a few languages, and then in winter I only almost talk Italian, so I was lose my English, lose my pronunciation, lose my vocabulary and all my language. So I think as well, when you open, you get to meet so many new people, I think this is the most beautiful part of this industry, that you meet everybody, from the nasty one, from the most important one, from the most funniest one, so it's I love it. When the hotel is open, I love it, and it's just something beautiful.
Thanks, Jan, Grand Hotel Villa Serbelloni, and James Bond for making this episode happen. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Ciao Bella. The editor of Ciao Bella is Mastro. Production manager is Jenna Spray. If you're new to Ciao Bella, take a peek at ciaobella.co, our all-encompassing Italy-focused website, where you'll find insider insight on contemporary Italy, and sign up for our newsletter for new episodes and articles. Follow me on Instagram at Erica Firpo, and follow Ciao Bella on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you like to listen. Leave us a rating or comment. Ciao, ciao.